Welcome in the sewing room, or shall I say right outside the sewing room. I'm sitting over here at the mister's desk. I started to dust last week up here, and I was going to straighten some things up and just get it a little cleaner and, just put things away. That was my whole purpose. And you're never going to believe what happened. And the mister told me, don't dust anymore. The people that came and helped me told me, don't dust anymore. So, and I videoed all this for you all. I did, or a lot of it, for the most part. And y'all are going to see that right here. And then, after y'all watch this, come back and I'm going to show you what happened. All right, are y'all ready to see what happened? Because it was a job. It was a chore, but things are a little more organized. Actually, they're a lot more organized. I can see things better. So let me show y'all what we did. Well, first let me zoom y'all back out a little bit. I got you zoomed in here. This is sitting from the mister's desk. All right, here we go. This is where I get into my little corner of the world. And I've put cubes up here. And I've got cubes on the back all the way around. This is our work table right here. Can you see? It's cleared off. We've got lots of room to cut and piece and do all sorts of things. This is all the fabric that I have. And Lord knows I had no idea I had this much fabric. I did not know that. And now that I can see it, I feel like I'm more likely to sew with it and not say, oh Lord, I need something to make this out of, because I have a fabric store here now. I really do. My table, I took this particular shelf right here, used to sit on the end of this table, and I set it up on the table that sits that way, so I would have room for my 12 cube or 18 cubes up here at the top and 18 cubes at the bottom, and they're facing the other direction, so I can get to them. I took out one shelf and I brought in some drawers. Now in this drawer in these drawers right here, I've got fat quarters and pieces that have been cut off of that are odd shapes, but they're not really scrappy pieces. You could still cut quilt blocks and things like that with them. And that's what I have in these 3 drawers. These are my like office desk like supplies. My pens, my markers. I've got my scissors and rotary cutters here and some other odds and ends in the bottom. This right here, I really didn't do anything with. This particular one, I'm going to set y'all down right here. This particular one, I just kind of moved it. That's all I did. It's the only thing I did not tear completely apart. This has got my batik fat quarters in it right here. These are 5-inch squares, and some of them I've cut off of. And these down here at the bottom are jelly roll strips. Here we have patterns. And no, this is not all the patterns by any means. But we have patterns, and we have the Tula Pink patterns and the Tilda patterns, and I've not got these marked, but they're various and sundry, like one's just quilts, one's pin cushions, one's different things. Here's our Alice Quilt Journal here. Various patterns. There's a scrappy quilt book, other quilt books. There's the Tula that we finished. Up here are quilt blocks. These are just some, these are my cam snaps and some little beads and some things like that. Here is, and I've got to figure out where to put it. I want y'all to see that. That was a piece. You know, I tell y'all I don't like to cut my quilts. I don't. This quilt was made by my husband's, by the mister's grandmother, up 10,000 years ago. It is faded. It is completely just about worn out. But I have had this for many, many years. There's another one here in this house somewhere that is blue, but I'm not sure exactly where it is, but I know it has not been thrown away. This wood frame, this wood came from the barn at the old home place. Okay, when we tore the barn down, we took the barn wood and we had frames made. This particular quilt had big holes in it. It was literally a cutter quilt because I barely was able to cut a few quilt pieces from it in order to give everyone in the family one. I mean, it was just literally threadbare, and that's, it was falling apart. It really was. And we decided we could frame them and use the barn wood from the old barn and give everybody a little piece of grand. So my father-in-law and I did these for people, did them for everyone for Christmas one year, way, way back, probably 25 years ago or more, maybe longer than that. It may have been before the children were born, so it may have been closer to 30 years ago. But I've got mine. This one was mine, the red one, and there was a blue one that my mother-in-law kept, and it is here somewhere. I'm just not exactly sure where, but it looks exactly like this, but she's in blue, and you can see here how this is all faded. And I don't know if y'all can see you can barely see the little print. I think y'all can see it here now. The little print in her dress. And this was all hand embroidered. It was hand stitched. It was hand quilted. It was all done by hand. And you can see that. And she did her blanket stitch, which you all know I love a blanket stitch. But you can see this one right here is even kind of coming apart now. And this frame needs to be cleaned. And I haven't done that yet. I probably need to take the vacuum and go over it good and clean it. and so forth. But there's my Sunbonnet Sue, I think is who you call her, or the little Dutch girl. I'm not really sure. And then over here, I've got fabric. These are my canvas fabrics and some of my flannels and some of my apparel fabric right down there at the bottom. These are zippers and various and sundry items for totes right here in this little container. This is ribbons and webbing and rickrack and things like that in this tote here. My computer sits right here on top of this, just lovely. And my light table sits right over here, just beautifully, right up here. I can keep it right there, and it's out of the way, and it's very safe. All right, now up here on our sewing table, back there in the corner is our pillow that we made. I just think it's pretty, so I'm going to leave it sitting back there for a while till I get a better place to put it, I guess. In these two totes right here, this is our Alice's quilt, and this is our Bunny Hop quilt. These are the pieces that I've cut for the borders that I'm working on. And y'all, I've not been up here to sew in a week. I have been, when I tell you I pulled everything out, I mean, I pulled everything out, vacuumed, dusted, cleaned, everything. I did. Here I moved over here our little sewing boxes, our little toolboxes. Here's our thing to hold our book when we're sewing. And I hung my thread. Some of it, I still have tons of thread. That's just some of it. I thought it would be pretty up there and get it kind of out of a box and I can see it and possibly use it that way. Over here in front of the window now, I've got a button jar. Here's things for my machines and so forth. Back there's more thread, and that's basically older thread. I do have some new thread in there I want to get out and move over here. There's my buttons, some of the buttons that are still in packages back there. Various and sundry things. Here is my pressing stuff right there. That's just water. And then my other pressing sprays. I've got me a, right here. Can y'all see that? I hope you can. Right here, I've got wool mats. This is a wool mat with a wool mat on top of it and another one. And I'm thinking very seriously about making me a pressing mat table thing for here. Taking up this cutting board possibly and just making me a pressing station right here. I just need to get the mister to cut me a piece of wood, probably 24 by 36 or something to that nature, or 2 by 4, something like that, or 2 by 3. And I'll use my wool mats to pad it, and then I will use some batting and some, what is the stuff you use for your hot pad things, heat resistant batting. I can't think of the name of it. But I'm thinking of doing that and just making me a big place here that I can just iron on all the time. And here's my little bitty iron right here. I do have another ironing board. Turn y'all around this way so you can see me, that we're going to be making a cover for. It actually was my mother's, and it's a little bit better and a little more sturdy than the one I've got. Even though mine is still really good, I was at my storage unit yesterday and I saw that and I went, this one's a little better than the one I've got. I think I'm going to take it home. So I brought it home. It is still downstairs. I have not carried it up here yet. But all in all, we're done. I do have a new iron because mine just wasn't getting hot enough. And can y'all tell I've got on short sleeves? My windows are open. The birds are singing. It is an absolutely beautiful day here today. It's up into the 60s. The sun is getting stronger. You can tell we're getting back to that side of the earth is turning. We're getting back to the other side of the sun where we're going to have warm temperatures again. Yay! But I want to give a huge shout out to my brother for coming and helping me do a lot of this. The mister, oh my mercy, he was a big help putting my cubes all together. 2 of them were together because I had them underneath the tables here. But I had 6 I had to put together. And mine are just the cheapest ones from Wally World or Target. The 2 that I had come from Target, and the other 6 that I bought new came from Wally World. If I were to do it again, and I had already bought these and put them together and it was too late, I probably would order the ones from IKEA, just simply because they're about an inch larger on the inside, your cube space. Mine are 11, maybe a little more than 11 inches, not quite 12 inches, and those are 12, almost 13 inches or 14. The IKEA ones are, and I think they're a little more stable. But all in all, I'm very happy with what I got accomplished, but it took a week. Because y'all know I kept all my fabric on shelves over here, just kind of in little bins, and I couldn't see it. I just couldn't see it. Some of it was half yard pieces, some of it was yard, some of it was more than a yard. I had some of it bolted, but not near all of it. I bought foam core board, ready something it's called, at the Dollar Tree. And I cut my pieces for my little mini bolts. I could get 9 out of a sheet. I got 9 of them for $1.25 plus the tax. I used my rotary cutter, my big 60mm rotary cutter. I just used an old blade, and I'm going to change it out before I start cutting fabric again. And I cut them 10 inches by 6 5/8 inches. And you could get 9 equal portions out of a 20 by 30 sheet. I've used some of these over here are still on cardboard because they were already on cardboard, and I had cardboard already cut. There's a big controversy, I think. A lot of people say it needs to be an acid-free board, and the foam core board from Dollar Tree is, or at least I've heard it is. I don't know. But like I said, I used cardboard because I had a ton of cardboard boxes that needed something to do with them, and I didn't want to just burn them up or throw them in the trash. I thought I can cut these and make my little mini bolts. And I did that last winter. I cut and cut and cut cardboard boxes up. We had a ton of cardboard boxes, and I cut them up. They were Amazon boxes. But then y'all kind of got me a little bit afraid of them because I really don't know. But yet, when you go to buy fabric in a fabric store, it's on a bolt that's made out of cardboard, just brown cardboard. Is it special cardboard in the fabric stores? I don't know. Y'all let me know if it is or what you do, because I'm really not sure about that. I'm very confused. But anyway, long story short, what we bolted this time, we put on the foam core. Some of mine's black, some of it's white. Couldn't get all white. It's hard to come by sometimes. I went from Dollar Tree to Dollar Tree to Dollar Tree. I had to go to 4 Dollar Trees to get what I needed. And like I said, half of it's black, half of it was white. So there you go. Sometimes, oh, there's a bug after me. I did ask, and they went to the back and got me full boxes. So it was a little easier for me to transport home. You might be able to do that. I don't know, depending on your Dollar Tree. One Dollar Tree, I asked about it. She said, we don't have it. We cannot keep it. They come in here and buy it by the box full. And I said, well, that's because it's a lot more expensive when you go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's or somewhere to pick it up. So y'all let me know if I did the right thing, the wrong thing. Would you have left it on the cardboard? Would you redo all of these? And I clipped some of mine with little plastic alligator clips. And they are like, I don't even have any left to even show you all what they are. They are like you used to, bras and panties used to come hanging up in a store. I know I'm telling my age, but they used to come hanging up in a store and they would be clipped on the hanger with these little plastic clear alligator clips. I had a bunch of those. I think I had maybe 1,000, and I used all those. I put one at the top and one at the bottom, and some of mine only have one at the top because I've triangular folded it around the bolt at the very end. I pinned some of it, which I do not like to do at all, because if you leave the pins in there for very long, they will rust and then you are up the creek unless you have stainless steel pins. And these might actually be stainless steel, which would be good if they are. I hope they are. I had some that were and some that were not. So hopefully these that we used were stainless steel because they won't rust. And then I decided I'm going to use rubber bands. So there's a handful of them over there that are done with rubber bands. And I have ordered more rubber bands from Amazon. They will be here soon. I've also ordered me a new chair because the padding in this chair is gone. And after I sit in it a while, it starts to sink down. And I don't like my chair to sink down. I've literally sat in it every day for a year, just about all day long, and I've worn it out. Poor Hello Kitty. She's pitiful. I've just about killed her. And, but that's about it. I am worn out. Night before last, I went downstairs, fixed dinner, sat down. I'd put something in the crock pot. I sat down and ate. I got up and got the dishes washed, and I sat back down and went right back to sleep. I was so exhausted. This has just about worn me out. But we have some projects coming. I want to make our ironing table. I want to make another ironing board cover for the new ironing board downstairs. This one might fit, but it looks a little dirty. I think I'll just wash this one, pop it back on this one, and make a new one. For the other one, we're going to make us a cover for Julie right here, because she needs a pretty cover to keep the dust off of her. I typically do not cover her up because I sew on her every day, but we're going to make a cover for her that will cover our table, cover it all. Okay, we're going to make a nice cover that we can just pop on there, pop off, easy peasy, every day when we're sewing. Come up here to sew, we take it off, we lay it to the side, and then we put it right back on her, cover her up when we're done at night. It'll keep her a little cleaner, and because fabric is very, very dusty. And like I said, I had a lot of help with this up here because it would have taken me weeks to fold all of that fabric and put it up. And y'all, that up at the top, I have to get up on the table to reach it. I do. I have to jump up on the table and to reach it because I'm so short. I cannot reach the top. But that's okay. The next move, possibly, I might get my own little building. I'm thinking about it. I'm really thinking about that, contemplating it, to where we have our own building. So I don't know, that may be another year or so down the road, but I'm sure it probably will eventually come to that because, the mister will say, you've got to get out of up here. I don't have room to turn around. But I'm trying my very, very best to not take over his space over there in that corner, because that's where his daddy's desk was. That's where he sits. That's where his dad's desk was. And that's his dad's desk that he used to sit at all the time. And when you look out the window, you've got a beautiful view of the mountains, and it really is pretty. I look out the window and I see a tree and our driveway and our field when I'm sitting here looking that direction. And I used to be able to look out the other direction out the window, but I can't see out that other window anymore because I walled it off. And I really am kind of trying to figure out if I can move things to still make me a little hole so I can see a little bit. I'm thinking about it just so I can kind of see what's going on and hear a little bit better, and maybe my air will come through because I've got it blocked now. It can't crosswind it. I can't have a crosswind through up here. We've got new light fixtures ordered for up here. They're not here yet, but they're small LED light fixtures with fans. It's set flush mounted to the ceiling, so that will help where this light hangs down into my shelf there. So I'll have that. That'll be nice because it'll give us more light up here. So anyway, let me know what you do with your fabric, if you've got it on mini bolts, and what you use for your bolts, because I'm very curious to know if you do yours like I do or if you do them another way. I'm very, very curious to know that. So thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me and seeing the new sewing space. Stay tuned for the next one where we make us a very, very simple, easy peasy sewing machine cover. We're going to make Julie a cover. Yes, we are. And we've got machines over there that we might make them a cover. Yeah, we might. But they're kind of already have a cover on them, and they're covered all the time because I don't really use them. And I'm liable to want to sell those too as well. I still got a few machines left if y'all are wanting one of those. I've got one or two maybe of the electronic, and I still have like 3 or 4 of the manual ones. The only difference is the electronic sets your stitch length and width, and the manual one you have to do that yourself, but it's a knob. It's easy, really easy. They both sew like a dream. So it's totally up to you what you want. So thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for giving me a day or two off so I could get all this done so that we can come back up here and we can sew and have lots more room, be able to see all of our fabrics.